Episode 4 of Small Little Things. Don't ever let your inner child grow old. I think childhood is one of the best phases of a person's life. You get to be carefree, stress-free, and bindas. However, our tiny little problems would still be there, and our tiny little minds made it as big as a mountain. Don't you find it funny when you think of those problems right now? Those are hardly a problem compared to our life problems right now as we grow up. In fact, life would be boring if it had no problems at all. I don't know where to start. The first thing I remember as a child is not wanting to go to school. I stayed home for a whole year when the headmaster could not see me crying all day. During the first day in school, he dropped me home and told my grandma that she's not ready for school. My grandma was not happy about it, but she let me stay home for that year. However, next year came and I did the same. Started crying. My old trick didn't work this time. I could not come up with another better idea. My grandma and my auntie, Kanji Sanima, they came up with a new idea instead. They decided to put me in a big woolen sack and throw me in a river if I didn't agree to go to school. They performed a demo as well. Little Ranju could not differentiate if they were serious or if they were just trying to send me to school. From that day, I never disagreed to go to school, and eventually, I started liking it. Animesh, you were just like me. You had a hard time going to school as well. Your first day of school reminded me of my own. I felt pity for both of us. One of the another best memories as a child would be all of us. Anita Didi, Navina Didi, Anjir Dai, Arbindra Dai, Sarmila Didi, Asik, Rabindra. We used to form a line and walk to school every day. And if I count, I guess it was like 15-20 steps away from home. And that too, the eldest one would be in the first line and the youngest at the last. So, with our backpacks and our school uniform, we were popular as a Shrestha family at the Skylark English School. Every morning tuition, 7 to 8, felt like a torture, especially on Sundays because of a holiday and Saturday. Saturdays were dedicated to bathing and washing clothes mostly. I remember Anita Didi helping me take a bath. She always combed my hair too. I would run towards her room with the comb and a yellow ribbon every day before school, and I never really thanked you for that. Through this podcast, I want to thank you, Anita Didi. How can I forget the movie time at 2 p.m. on Saturdays with our lunch on our hands? We had our designated sofa seats as well. I remember the lunch too, chura and tarkari most days. I do remember watching Hamro Moomin and Kasauti Zindagi Ki. Sarmila Didi, you were my serial partner, discussing and predicting the next episode. It was one of our favorite. I vividly remember all the characters as well. Some things can't just be forgotten, I guess. The picture we paint as a child remains with us forever. Can't blame our curious mind and immature mind. During holidays, as it gets darker, playing cricket at the balcony, Kausi with Anjir Dai, Arbinda Dai, Asik and Animesh was a beautiful memory. I would be so excited and run downstairs to grab a ball whenever the batman hit the ball out of the balcony. Now I see I was never the part of the game. I did have fun though. They did let me bat sometime, but I could hardly even hit a ball with my bat. Such memories, such fun memories. I'm not sure if you guys remember, but I do. One of my other favorite memory as a child would be morning meals together after tuition. We would sometimes play rubber band, chungi, and just sunbath till the food was served. Rabindra, do you remember once you accidentally spilled tomato pickle, kolbaraka achar all over you? Your tiny little hands weren't able to hold that big bowl of pickle. Our Amma, such a great singer she was, said, Achar bhai mathachar, and made her own song out of it. I remember all of your sayings which would turn into a song later, Amma. Eating together brings so much joy and a sense of closeness. Don't you all agree? That's one thing we must all do as long as we are with our family. It makes you feel close to each family member and you will realize its importance when you eat alone. How can I forget our Bharakuti time, especially when Anjana, Samjana, Srijana, Lalita, Asmita would come to Mamagar. I remember Anita Didi, Navina Didi and Sharmila Didi playing a role of mom and dad, and some of us would be their kids, some were from a different family and they would fake a marriage, and one of us would be their grandchildren. Oh my god, it was so much fun. We would all be dressed up with our shawls, old saris and dhotis. We didn't need Barbie dolls like these days. We made food out of mud, served them on a leaf. We were just kids enjoying our innocence without worrying, without expecting. And as elder sister grew up, they left playing with us. I took the role of mom and dad, and my little sister would be my kids, and so on. It kept passing from generations to generations. Isn't it amazing how we follow the footsteps of our elders? Those were the moments kids of today are missing because of the introduction of cell phone. I feel so sorry for you. You guys are missing a lot. Talking about missing out, I miss playing Choidum and hide and seek. Remember Sostika and Arbindra Dai and Asik? We used to play Choidum in Chundevi Mandir during evening time, and I would be the one screaming the loudest. And as we get tired, we would run home and sit together to listen to our grandma's story. She always had fun stories to tell. Talking about story, how can I not remember Arvinda Dai's horror stories during load shedding time? Amisa, Animes and me were his favorite audience. We would give 100% attention to those stories. Talk, say the sari. Those sounds he produced were enough to scare us during those dark nights. I have a different memory with Arvinda Dai. He was my maths teacher basically, and every math problems I had, I used to run to him. He helped me solve most of it, and sometimes when he couldn't answer my small little brain used to think, he's elder than me and he studies in higher grades. How come he doesn't know all the answers, and how come he go to a higher grade? Oh god, how stupid I was. I must have been so annoying, hey Dai? Thank you for bearing me. Now I realize not all problems needs to be solved, and not every problem has a solution. No one knows it all. Sometimes we must face it to learn from it. Every problem teaches you a lesson, some good, some bad. Every tihar reminds me of Devsi and Bhailo, and how Anita Di, Sarmila Di and Navina Di were dressed in that colorful sari and went to play Bhailo, and I was not allowed. Why? Because I was way too small. And me and Rabindra were left on a swing facing same side under that peepal tree. We got bored after a while, and me, being a big protective sister, had to help my brother get off that swing. So what I did, I jumped off that swing thinking I'll help my brother get off, and unfortunately we both fell and we had scars on our forehead. So we went home crying again. I guess we were like 3.5 years old. Bichara hami. Amma scolded us again, and we went to bed crying. I feel amazed how such incidents stay forever in our head. I can literally feel that vibe and that energy when I close my eyes. And I'm glad, at least I have these memories with me, which will stay with us till our last breath. Amisa, that pencil mark under your eye will stay with you forever. Ranju Didi's Chino. Slowly and steadily, we grow up to become an adult, live our life with high expectations and societal norms. Our curious little child somewhere gets lost during this process. Trust me, we all have that inner child within us who wants to live carefree and not worry about future. Nowadays, everything seems to be upgraded and fancier. Finding an old picture of you would always be a hassle. So please, guys, don't ever let your inner child grow old. Thank you for listening, Small Little Things. See you again next week. Thank you. Bye.